All set.
Cool, thanks.
Pretty sure it's unmuted.
Okay. Can you hear me?
There's nobody there yet.
Oh, there's nobody there.
They're there.
Oh, there they are.
What can go in the room?
Okay. Doug, are you there?
Joy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good to hear
Okay,
your
great.
voice.
Were you able to hear me earlier talk about the technical difficulties we're having?
No, but I heard about them last night at the council meeting. There were some problems. Is it
Okay.
the same with blacks out or something?
Yeah, so right now it's just not turning on our projector.
Okay.
But if you're okay participating through audio, I can still see you and we can potentially set up another. Well,
Okay.
I guess you can see. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see and audio means just like it is now.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's okay with me. I understand.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We'll let you know when we're about to get started.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Yeah, I'll let her know.
And I'll just
Hey Joy, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you and see you.
Um,
And I
So-
can see.
Chelsea, I think told you that we're having some technical difficulties. They
Yeah,
were having them at city council last night too, and it just didn't get fixed between meetings.
well, I can see why.
And when you're wanting to speak, I'll just monitor the video and then I'll hold my computer up to this microphone that I have so that everybody
Okay,
can hear you. If
Okay.
that works.
that will work. Just
Okay,
guide me along, I'll follow.
okay. I'll let Susan know now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so what we'll do is Commissioner Presti, who's running tonight's meeting, she'll just call on you every time there's time for a commissioner to speak, and I'll just automatically hold my computer up so we can hear you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, thanks so much. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's just technology. It does.
One
it
of those things.
One of those things. It happens and to everybody.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll just do that, and I'll still be here. So let me know if you want to jump in and I don't have my computer up.
Okay, I'll wait for Susan to say, do you have anything? And then I'll talk if I
Okay.
have, or tell you I don't.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we have a plan.
Good evening, everyone. It's 5:30. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the October 4th, 2023 meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission for the City of Manitou Springs. Thank you all for being here. Wanted to remind everybody that the Historic Preservation Commission is responsible for reviewing plans for buildings in the historic district for architectural appropriateness and to ensure proposals meet the city's design guidelines, which are based on the Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation. I am going to take roll by letting everybody introduce themselves. Let me start with Commissioner Porter while we have things working. If you would introduce yourself.
This is Joy Porter. Can you hear?
I think you're on mute, Joy.
No, it wasn't.
Maybe it's our system.
Yeah, I was on regular. I can hear you and then.
Now I can hear you.
Is it working?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Porter. We've got you here.
Okay, good.
Laura Kinseth and Ann Nichols.
And I'm Susan Presti, Vice Chair, sitting in for Chair Edmondson, who is excused and away tonight. So first thing, let me start with approval of minutes. We have no minutes to approve unless there's a change to that item. Moving on to notice of council action, I do not see Any council action? Is there any change in that from staff?
Thank you, Commissioner Presti. No, we do not have any changes.
Okay. And on the next on our agenda is unfinished business. I see none unless something has changed. Okay. New business. I want to just cover the order of proceedings for the public hearing items that are in the new business section. First, the staff will make a presentation. The commissioners will ask questions of the staff. Then the applicant will come up and make a statement about the application, and then we will ask questions of the applicant, the commissioners will. And then we'll open a public hearing section where citizens can speak in favor or opposed to the application, and the applicant can respond to those statements. And then we'll close the public hearing, and the commissioners will discuss among ourselves, make a motion and decision and vote on that. And just so you all know that any decision item by this commission may be appealed to the city council by filing written notice of the appeal with the city clerk's office within 10 calendar days of the decision tonight. If you have any questions, please see staff for further information. All right, before we start on new business, do any of the commissioners have ex parte communications or conflict of interest to declare for any of tonight's agenda's items?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you. So first, new business item number 1, MCAC 2318, material change of appearance certification for 3 Oklahoma Road. Doug Baker is the owner. Chelsea?
Thank you, Commissioner Presti. As you stated, the MCAC 2318 is at 3 Oklahoma Road. The owner is proposing to replace a picture window on the front facade. The picture window is existing. However, it is non-original to the building. The property is zoned general residential and is in the Midland Historic District. The property has been determined to be a non-contributing structure. Here you can see kind of a photo of the front facade. The yellow square is the picture window to be replaced. It does not include the casement windows on either side. Those will remain. As I stated, the window is not original to the structure. Picture windows were not common during the period of significance, and it is lacking the detailing, the architectural detailing that you can see on the window to the right. So they're replacing an existing wood framed picture window with a vinyl framed picture window, again, to match the casement windows on either side of it. Staff recommends approval without conditions. And here's the proposed motion language.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, does anybody have a question for staff? Joy?
Does the window have any lines in it? It looked like it had lines in it. I couldn't tell from the road. Is it just a clear window?
The applicant has indicated that they'll answer that when they're called to testify.
Okay. All right, thank you.
My understanding is that it is a true picture window without mullions, but we'll let the applicant speak to
May have
that.
been the sun.
Anything else for staff?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Chelsea. If we could have our applicant come up. You have to come and sit if you would. Yes. Turn on the microphone and state your name and your current address. Push the button.
Testing. All right, my name's Doug Baker and I live at 3 Oklahoma and I've lived there a long time now. What else did you need?
If you would like to make a statement, you can address.
Well, I was going to answer that question. I've got, it's a thing for birds. It's little cords hanging down because I had birds climbing into the window and committing suicide.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out what to do about that. So that apparently works. They move around enough that the birds don't run into the window as much.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Spring. As far as that window, it's they're replacing it, I think, with it's a renewal by Anderson. It's, you know, it's my best window, so I'm gonna get a good one in there. I think is it vinyl? It's wood on the ins. Well, it's not wood, it's their special material, resin material or something that they use. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That was they framed in the porch at some point years ago. That was actually a porch once upon a time, and they had framed it in. I don't know when, probably in the 40s or 50s. But that's about it. If you approved it, I'm ready to get going on it. I made a down payment to Renewal by Anderson months ago, so I'm going to tell them to go.
All righty, commissioners, Joy, do you have another question, or did
That did. It's
we
very
grant you-
original to protect, very good to protect the birds. That's excellent.
I didn't like the thudding noise either.
No, I don't think I would either.
I'm probably gonna be putting solar panels in at some point, but and I think I'll have a little bit more, I don't know, challenge for that. We'll see, but not yet.
Okay.
So that's-
Any other questions from commissioners?
Yes, just to clarify, you are keeping the two side
Yeah,
casement windows, so
Right.
it'll just be really a smaller picture window. Thank you.
Okay, I think you've answered all of our questions. If you'd like to
Sure,
take a
sure.
seat, and is there
should I
any,
turn this off or?
that'd be a great idea. Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this application or online? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion of this item. And commissioners, is there any further discussion, or would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and move that we approve MCAC 2318 as proposed without condition. I'll second.
Excellent. We have a motion to approve in a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. Good luck with your new window. Okay. Item number 2 has been withdrawn, so we'll move to item number 3, MCAC 2320. Material change of appearance certification for 917 Midland Avenue. Dominique Rivera, owner, and Erin, are you presenting this one?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Vice Chair Presti. 1 second, pulling my staff report back up here. So the owners are requesting material change of appearance certification at 917 Midland Avenue. They are attending virtually tonight as they are under the weather. This is in Zone District General Residential, and it is the High Road Historic Subdistrict. This is approximately 1,500 square foot legal non-conforming single family home. The applicant is seeking an MCAC to replace their existing deck to the same extent as what it exists today. The home and the current setback are for the deck are both legal non-conforming structures, as they do not meet the front setback requirements for the general residential zone district. The deck has deteriorated and the applicant wishes to replace the deck in the exact location with the same dimensions, but making 2 material changes to help with longevity and weathering on that deck. One is the decking material will go to wood composite instead of wood, and the railing will be a metal TimberTech bronze railing. And there are pictures, sorry, I didn't go. So this is the picture of the existing structure. You can see that it serves as a secondary entrance for the home, with the primary entrance, if you go to the next picture, being off of the street level. And then go ahead to the next image. And this is the plan for the deck, confirming, we have pictures that have confirmed the extent of it. And then the last picture here is the proposed material. So with the choices of these materials, even though they are changes of material, they're using colors to try to still make it blend in with what is existing there. The staff does not have any conditions, and the motion language is here on the next slide.
Thank you. Any commissioners have questions for staff? Commissioner Porter, do you have any staff?
When I went up and looked at the where the railing would be, I didn't notice in the neighborhood any others that had metal railings. I looked for some and it's almost all wood. Is that correct, Chelsea?
I do not look at adjacent structures from the metal railing. I think typically they are wood. However, in this case, with it being set back from the road and sort of up a little bit, it's not as visible as maybe some that are front porch. I will note that the historic design guidelines, I believe I noted this in my staff report as well. The guidelines speak specifically to front porches, but less so for decks. There's not really much mention of a deck specifically, and this would not be considered a front porch based on its location. So there aren't a whole lot of direction on the deck railing. So I think there's flexibility with the deck as opposed to a porch.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. Thank you, Erin. If we will open it up for statements from our applicant. I know you all are virtual, so if you would introduce yourselves and whoever's speaking for you, or if both of you are, and give us your address and let us know what else you would like to add.
Sure. Can you all hear us?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm Daniel Pickart. This is Katia Rivera, and the little terror behind her is Semi, who will jump in occasionally. We're at 917 Midland. We are hoping to make our deck safer for our child as our primary motivation for this, without making any changes to the footprint of the house. So that's our goal with this.
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments or statements of support or opposed to this change from the audience? Please step forward, turn on the speaker and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Reverend Dave Hunting. I live at 914 Midland Avenue, just across from my neighbors. I hope you guys are feeling better. So, and I would like to approve this request. I replaced the deck on I added a deck to my home with the approval of the Planning Commission 2 years ago. It's made of the exact same material that they are proposing. The exact same contractors are using work on their project as they did on mine. And I do have a metal railing around my deck as well. This is a matter of safety for their family. If you look at the deck, it may fall down tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, right? So this is a matter of safety as well as improving the property along the way. And I used to serve on this board 30 years ago, so it's nice to be back home. And Ann has already put the screws on me to come back and join it.
Good.
Very good. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Hope you feel better.
Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, any other statements or people online want to make a statement? Okay. We'll close the public hearing then, and commissioners, do you have, I forgot to ask, commissioners, did you have questions for the applicants?
No, I think even though the materials are different, I think the design is consistent enough with the rest of the neighborhood that would work.
Okay, since we're moving into discussion, any other discussion?
I would just I would just add that it sits up on a hill, and safety, especially for a child and the adults, is really important. And I think they did a good job of blending the railings, into the site. It looks like they need to get it done tomorrow.
Anybody
Thank you.
else? Yes, I agree. I appreciate your efforts to make it blend in and be close to what you have currently, but safer. Okay, Matt, would somebody like to make a motion?
I move to approve MCAC 2320 material change of appearance certification, 917 Midland Avenue, with no conditions.
Second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously. Good luck with your new deck. We wish you well with that. Thank you for your application. And that is concludes our new business for tonight. The next agenda item is other business and discussion of the HPC awards. Thank you, folks.
Great. So thank you all for evaluating the MCACs that have been completed over the last 3 years. That was a lot of legwork, and I really appreciate the contributions that you've all made to keeping the integrity of these awards alive. There were two, sorry, just a bit of background so that we have kind of record of what we're discussing here. Typically held annually, the HPC awards have not been held since the COVID pandemic began. The HPC wishes to recognize all successfully completed eligible projects between 2019 and 2022. I do say 2022, noting that in 2024, we will evaluate this year's projects. The commissioners each evaluated properties that were granted an MCAC during those years and determined whether the project was eligible and was completed. And the following slides contain only the projects that were deemed questionable by the commissioners. Anything that was a clear yes or no was left off. So through all of that work that you've done, we only have 2 projects to discuss. So the first one that comes up is MCAC 1901 at 61 Grand Avenue. Commissioner Kinseth, I believe, noted some concerns about the architectural integrity of this addition. I believe it is, just based on staff analysis, I believe it is within the bounds of what was approved by the HPC. However, without having any real past experience on the HPC awards, I'm not sure if it seems to me, let me start over. It seems to me like the MCAC approval should act as proof of the architectural integrity of the design and therefore should carry over. And if the project was implemented as approved, that should, I guess, inform the HPC's decision of whether or not to invite them to accept an award. Am I understanding that process correctly?
Yes, in my view, that's how we've always done it. Yes.
Do any of the commissioners wish to discuss this project?
I too reviewed that one. I know Laura had concerns about it. I did go back and look at the minutes from that approval, and that was what the commission approved, whether we would do the same today or not. But I agree, they conformed with what the commission approved. So I would think that that qualifies for an award.
Okay, I was just wondering, was the stucco the only item that was reviewed? And there was nothing said about window styles or anything else, just something that would relate to the character of the neighborhood?
Yeah, I don't remember specifically in the minutes about windows. The addition was approved as, even though it was that size, and it did say stucco finish as part of, and the application did have, I think, those windows in the application. So, and that was approved as well as it was presented. So, okay, so I think the consensus that I'm hearing from everybody is we would approve that for an award.
Okay, great. So the next item we have was very, very controversial. MCAC 2107 at 204 Shelton Road. This item was approved under one design using the materials on the left of the screen during the HPC hearing, and through a series of administrative approvals, the materiality changed significantly to wood horizontal lap siding. This caused quite a stir, and I believe policies were changed as a result of it. That being said, they did receive staff approval. I don't know necessarily how the commission feels about if staff approval is akin to HPC approval.
I would look to my oldest members to get a feel for what you all think about this one.
Well, as Chelsea said, this was extremely controversial, and it was kind of at the end of the prior planning staff person, Michelle's tenure here, and it did, I think, come as a surprise to most of us that she had administratively approved the change in material. In my view, it's not what we approved and probably shouldn't be given a historic preservation award, in my view.
And I agree with Anne on that. I think it was so controversial, and it was like what we had done. And that's why now I know staff is very open to letting us know if there's going to be changes, if there's any that they think are controversial, which really helps us not get into a situation like this. But I certainly agree with Anne that I don't think we can award something that the people got caught because they got it approved by a former person. But at the same time, we as the current board, I think commission, have some rights to say, well, we just can't give it an award. So I agree with Anne on that. Thank you.
Do you have an opinion on that?
I agree with Anne as well.
I think it's hard for us to give an award and recognize somebody who changed our direction, even though the staff approved it on that one. It does seem like an award might be above and beyond. We did not tell them to go back and redo the siding, but we probably don't want to highlight that one as a great example of what we want people to do.
Understood. Okay. In that case, I will work on compiling the list and getting notifications out to the property owners once we confirm the details of the event, which I believe Chair Edmondson is working on. So we'll go from there. Thank you for all of your work, all of you.
And I do have a communication from Chair Edmondson that he sent before he left. He's, let's see, a motion to start preparing the awards can be brought to the floor. And he will be in contact with Renee Young, the artist, doing the work for the awards, and have her submit the work by our next meeting. So everything can be printed up. He will finalize reservation at Miramont Castle for November, and suggested that we might discuss a timeline or a general date at this meeting. Well, and you said you folks can discuss that, the timeline, meeting before he gets back, which would be tonight. I don't know if we need to set a date or whether we
Well,
already have one.
At this point, I would assume it would depend on the availability of the Miramont.
Okay. And I assume we want to avoid Thanksgiving week, so any place around that.
Are these typically held weeknights, weekends, during the day, at evening? Are there any sort of
Evening, isn't it?
standards?
It's usually early in the evening on a weekday. Like, I think we've typically done it Friday, Thursday, something like that. Definitely not weekends.
Okay. Staff, is there anything else you need from us at this point?
I believe we can start kind of creating and contacting folks to let them know that we will be hosting this and to stay tuned for those event details. I think perhaps we will put a notice in the newspaper, in the Pikes Peak Bulletin, and then kind of move from there. November might be pushing it, if depending on when we have those
Okay.
final details. So I would ask perhaps for flexibility and open to the idea of early December as well.
That's certainly, I think, fine by us. I guess it
Yeah.
will really depend on the availability of our location, but okay, and we certainly understand this is difficult timing for you all. You are up to your eyeballs in budget, I know, at this point in the year. So we appreciate you trying to add this to your already busy schedules. Thank you so much. I think that's all we have for that one. Next item is the item 5, the 2024 goals and budget.
Thank you, Commissioner Presti. Speaking of budget, let's talk budget. So tonight, or for the record, Hannah Van Nimwegen, City Planning Director. I do have just a very quick kind of presentation. But every year, the staff gives a presentation about operations, but also the chairs of every board gives a presentation to City Council on their particular board's budget. And so this is pretty close to the presentation that was given last year, but I made some assumptions on what you might be interested in this year, but I wanted to have a chat about those things. So I'll be in touch with Doug about when that presentation is. And last year, I remember Commissioner Presti, you were also present, and so I'll keep you in the loop as well. So this presentation, literally 4 slides. It starts with the HPC's purpose statement, and then we go through the members on the commission. These were the goals of 2023, and that was to receive a grant to complete one survey of a high priority area identified in the historic resource survey plan, to design and install street sign toppers in at least one historic subdistrict, and to review and revise Title 17 of the City Code to clarify application procedures and review criteria. So this past year, we tried to do these things. So we did apply for a grant. Unfortunately, that grant did not pull through. But as you'll see, one of the 2024 goals in the upcoming slides is that we're requesting just the money to go ahead and do it ourselves. So that way we're not at the whim, or I shouldn't say whim, but we're not in a competitive process. So with the RFI that we published last year, we generally know how much a survey of the log cabin district would cost. So that's the amount that I'm requesting. This is a draft of the 2023 accomplishments that I wanted to run past you. So we think it's an accomplishment to bring back these awards. I think it's really important for the community. And after 3 years, that's, like as Chelsea said, that's a lot of legwork that you guys did to look at 3 years of approvals. So I consider that an accomplishment. We did get feedback from the commission about Title 17, with just the code change hasn't formally occurred yet. So what I would want to do moving into 2024 is to take in that feedback and propose some language changes for the commission to review. The commission did review the library's interior and exterior a couple of times. And again, that is a massive project. That is a very high profile project as well. And I consider that an accomplishment of this board. In addition to the library, we're also working on Hiawatha Gardens, and you guys did provide feedback on Hiawatha as well. I haven't pulled the full number of the total number of MCACs that the board has reviewed and made a decision on, but any number is an accomplishment. So I'll pull that final number and we can present it as an accomplishment as well. But I just wanted to check in with you. Do you feel like these reflect the last year up to this point? Would you want to add anything? Would you prefer I take anything away at this stage?
Anybody have any? I think it looks good. I can't think of anything else, Hannah. I think those are the key points.
Thank you.
One question I have, I can't remember, what year did we review the McLaughlin Lodge district line? Was that this year or last year?
That would have been last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just as a brief interruption, I apologize. We did want to point out as well that the sign toppers have been designed and just not installed yet. And rather than for one sub-district, they have been designed across all sub-districts.
Good.
Yes, thank you for that jump in. So there is progress there. And that project's scope got increased a significant amount. So it turned into more than we had initially anticipated, which is fine. It's just why it's taken a little bit longer than we had guessed at first. But overall, I think we'll get a really good product out of it.
Do you want to, are you going to use the word review the library or approved the library?
Oh, yeah, I can change that to approved. That's a good
We
point.
actually made a decision on that.
Good
Yeah.
catch.
Whereas Hiawatha Garden, I guess it's just preliminary designs we've reviewed.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
I
I
think
can.
that's good. I don't,
I think it looks good.
And
What else?
so I took a stab at drafting some goals for 2024. They're going to look a lot like what they were in 2023. So our goal is to conduct a resource survey as identified in the Historic Resource Survey Plan. Again, that was adopted in 2020. We are requesting that funding as part of the general fund, and that would come out of the Planning Department's professional services budget. So, of course, that is up to City Council if they decide to fund it. But given that it's not a large request and has immense value to the city and to the HPC and to staff who can then review applications with a little bit more specificity, I don't see, I can't predict, but I don't see why it would get turned down. The second goal was to, I guess I should change that to install street sign toppers.
Yes.
We right now, as was presented a few months ago, we're intending to focus on Manitou Avenue specifically, just because there are missing street signs, there are street signs in disrepair, and there's a lot of like sign clutter. And so we're able to address all of that with this one project. So we are planning on starting there and then kind of wafting out, if that makes sense, into the neighborhoods. I do think that this reviewing and revising Title 17 is really important. I think over this past year, we've realized that there's some things that could use clarification, specifically with demolitions that we heard this year, and review criteria that are specific to MCAC. So something specific that you can point to that's in code and not just a guideline, I think would be helpful. But then also we can open the door to any other changes. So as staff, we'll do a full review and just say, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you guys think? And from there, maybe we can make the process a little more seamless or give the commission the tools that it would hope to have when reviewing certain types of applications. So those, or before I move on, what does the commission think of those goals? I'm happy to edit or change, remove, add from there.
I think those are great. Did you want to indicate which district, sub-district we were going to conduct the survey on this? We probably want to mention that we had decided it was the log cabin. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I can definitely make that change.
Just so they know we have a specific, we're not doing the whole thing. We have a specific one that we've targeted. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
No, I think it looks good.
Great. And the last thing that I just wanted to bring up is the actual numbers. So this is the budget that we are proposing. It looks pretty similar or exactly the same to last year's budget, except what's highlighted. So we are going to reserve $1,400 for commissioner education and training. And as you mentioned, Commissioner Presti, there's a number of free training opportunities through the state. So we'll be forwarding those on to the commission as we receive them. So I was able to track that down, and you'll be getting emails from us about those things or those opportunities. We are contributing to the street sign topper budget with $10,000 specifically to so that they notate the historic district that they're in. But we were able to increase that budget by a good amount through Public Works. So, and the parking and mobility fund, since we will be helping both of those areas as well. So total for 2024, that budget is going to be, if I recall correctly, 80,000 through those three different funds. We will continue the $10,000 maintenance mini grant program. And we are required to maintain the $5,000 preservation grant. That is essentially just a pass through from the state. And we are going to continue the $5,000 preservation incentives fund. But we are adding $2,800 for the HPC Honor Awards. So that wasn't formally in the budget. There is money available. So this year is not a problem, but we might as well make sure that it's in the budget for next year. And so with that, I just wanted to share those numbers and see if you had anything that you would like to see. It might be a little late for this year to change these numbers, but we absolutely can adjust them for next year or start that discussion. And if it's absolutely essential, we probably can still adjust these numbers.
Does the thing for the surveying the log cabin district, does that come out of your budget then, not out of this one?
Thank you, Commissioner Porter. Yes. So
Okay.
that would come out of the planning department's professional services budget, which is where we put most of our consultants.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick question, because I don't know exactly how it works, but for our grants and incentives, do you all have money in the planning department budget to promote or advertise those, the availability of those, so citizens know that they're out there?
Yeah, that's a great idea. So we could pull from our publications budget where we the line item that we use when we mail postcards and things like that and notify of applications in newspapers. So we could use, I know that there's a cushion in there right now, so we could use that to do some advertising.
Do we know of anybody who took advantage of any of these this year?
So in 2023, no, I don't believe so, but I know that there was somebody in 2022.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a significant amount. I know that there are some individuals that are interested, but and I'm hoping to get them in before the end of the year, but I just can't confirm that yet.
Okay, thanks. Just a thought, if we do a little more communication about it, we might see more activity, and
Yeah.
that always looks good to the state, I'm sure, if we're actively supporting and rewarding people for doing this. So taking advantage of especially their pass-through money.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have any other thoughts?
No.
Thank
It's
you.
very thorough.
When then that'll be the extent of the presentation then for that night? Or
Yes. Yeah, unless the council has any specific questions. And then there will be an opportunity to answer those, but that'll be the extent from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is the last item on our agenda, unless anybody has additional other business or old business. Then I call the meeting adjourned at
Great
6.
meeting, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you all for your support tonight.
Thank you, staff.